Never trust a tourist advertisement. Never trust a tourist advertisement.
Now get out! 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 Now get out!
At last, Mr. Charles Reed.
Nice to...
Johannes Vanderberg, at your service.
Ah, much obliged, Mr. Vanderberg. I guess I didn't expect you to mean...
Please call me Johannes. Welcome to the proud city of Oakmont. Alas, now is not its finest hour, though it is its most important.
That's an...
Thank you, Mr. Reed. A mere flood.
I take it you're a big...
Well, I have a particular weakness for it.
Reaching Oakmont was no easy task. Most maps I found didn't mark it, and this rickety packet ship is the only one that sailed here. Why is that?
Oakmont is no ordinary place. Its unique geographical position, and the flood, a recent natural disaster, But you made it, Mr. Reed. I'm sure the tides of fate would have brought you here.
You said you know someone who can help me with my... problem.
Such vividness of dreams is not uncommon here in Oakmont. By chance, the man I spoke of, Robert Throgmorton, is already... He has dedicated a lot of time and effort to investigate this issue. Alas, I fear he has a more pressing...
How can I find Mr.
Don't worry, you can't miss him. Throgmorton tends to... stand out from the crowd.
I'll need a place to lay my head while I'm here.
Fear not. I've already feathered a nest for you. There's a room in your name at the Devil's Reef Hotel. Here's the key.
Sounds... charming.
Don't judge a book by its...
How do you fill your days, Mr. Vanderberg?
I host a philosophy club for the like-minded intelligentsia, gathering seeds of thought, like...
Does Oakmont really have much of a market for philosophy?
There is no consciousness without pain, Mr. Reed. No better moment...
What's the best way to get around Oakmont? I'd like to drop my things at the hotel.
Most locals go by foot, or by boat. I've got the latter sorted for you. There's one waiting outside. Take this...
Other places?
You're a private eye, yes? Well, I've highlighted the police station, city archive, newspaper... places you'll need to get to the truth. This city is insular, its ways mysterious.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
don't worry.
Something with this helmet.
Can't catch a
You like
mackerel
it here,
since those
newcomer?
Innsmouthers took over the fishing business.
Well, get used
Can't
to
catch
it.
a mackerel since those
No one
Innsmouthers
leaves
took over
Oakmont
the fishing
nowadays.
business.
I don't care about your petty excuses. No one leaves the port until my son is found, and that is fine.
Excuse me. Are you Robert Throgmorton?
I am, but not interested. Go away.
The name's Charles Reed. I'm a private investigator, just arrived from Boston. I was told you might be able to help me.
Private investigator, you say? Well, perhaps we can help each other.
I've heard you're the man to speak to about visions, outbreaks of hysteria. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it myself. Can I ask you a few
How dare you? My son Albert is missing, and no one in this Innsmouth-ridden city will do a damn thing.
Please forgive the question, but I've never met a man quite like you before.
That's because no man measures up to the Throgmorton lineage. Proud and powerful blood flows through our veins. My father united with a certain royal family.
If I may ask...
Why do you care?
Well, like I said, I'm a PI. Finding people is kind of my...
Is it? Well, Albert was part of a deep-sea expedition I commissioned. This useless fool over here says he found Albert washed ashore in a lifeboat.
And you don't believe...
Complete malarkey. I know my Albert. I raised him strong. Albert's disappearance is the work of Innsmouthers. Mark my...
I take it you're not the biggest fan of these Innsmouthers.
Those fish-faced freaks have overrun this city since the police burned Innsmouth. But now, those filthy migrants occupy half this damned city. The port, Grimhaven Bay, Salvation Harbor, the shells. They are...
So they're just...
Hardly. They've taken work from the local fishermen. They stir and agitate against us, the Throgmorton family. We are the pillar of this community, not to mention that crime rates have skyrocketed. Simply speaking...
Mr. Throgmorton, let me help you. I'm rather good at tracking down missing people. I'll find Albert.
What makes you think you can do it? Oh,
Let's just say I tend to see things that others miss. And anyway, what have you got to lose? Sounds like you could use every man you...
Vera.
I need to know more about...
Dane, did you not listen at all? I already told you everything. After leaving on the expedition, Albert was found on the This fisherman supposedly brought him to the house, and then left to call me. But when I arrived here, my son was nowhere to be seen.
Anything else?
Clearly, something suspicious occurred inside the house.
Sorry, did you just say... Vera?
You had better get used to the Oakmont dialect, outsider. That is, if you want to fit in. It is a fascinating blend. Vera means fine. I was saying...
Where's the house where this all happened?
For Kay's sake, I thought you were a private eye. We're standing right in front of it.
You mentioned a lifeboat.
Yes.
As much as I'm enjoying...
Find my son.
Where's your Oberon, huh, Titania? Where's your Oberon, huh, Titania? Something with this helmet.
I've said everything I know.
Don't do anything stupid, newcomer. And keep your hands where I can see them.
Mr. Throgmorton.
Give it to me. Oh, my boy, what did you get yourself into? If only I hadn't sent you on that...
Bye.
I gave you clear instructions, did I not? I gave you clear instructions, did I not?
The book is damp and damaged, but clearly well cared for. Huh. This dog mat looks better than the owner's bed.
Let's see what you find, newcomer. Let's see what you find, newcomer.
Hello?
Oh, my head. What?
It's okay. I'm Charles Reed, Private Eye. Mr. Throgmorton,
Oh,
I want to know what happened here.
I don't remember much. Then he came back carrying Throgmorton's son. He was unconscious, barely breathing. Barry left again.
Then what?
We put the guy in Lewis's room. Then he started to make these horrible sounds and... Okay. My head began... And he woke up. And after that, I don't remember a thing. Just dreams. Drowned streets, a sleeping giant, a voice that called me...
That sounds... Tell me about yourself.
Name's Will. Will Hammond. I'm a fisherman. We all are. Live here together. Me, poor fella Paul, Barry, we moved here after the flood. I worked on the railroad, but the rail ain't kicking anymore, so I started fishing.
Where are all the other guys?
That's Paul there on the floor. Kay be with him. Barry's outside with Mr. Throgmorton, and I have no idea what Lewis or Throgmorton's son got to. Starting to suspect the worst.
Who is this cat?
Outsider, show some respect. Kay is our lord, our light.
Sorry, do you know how Paul died?
I don't know. When I pulled myself together, he was already...
I'll leave you...
Please, detective, sir, tell me the truth.
I don't know yet, Will. The police will stop anyone coming in or out of here, so I suggest you just...
My head! I still hear those voices. My head! I still hear those voices.
Choo-choo. Ahem. Choo-choo. Ahem. I'm surprised they don't have someone's portrait here. I'm surprised they don't have someone's portrait here. Never seen knives like this before. Masterful work. Seems like Prohibition hasn't affected Oakmont too much. So, that's what an Innsmouther looks like. So, that's what...
head. I still hear those voices.
The book is damp and damaged, but clearly well cared for.
I gave you clear instructions, did I not?
It would take tremendous effort to move this thing, let alone tossing it over like this. It would take tremendous effort to move this thing, let alone tossing it over like this. I can barely recognize the face of the poor fella. He was beaten to a pulp. I can barely recognize the face of the poor fella. He was beaten.
Head. I still hear those voices.
I can barely recognize the face of the poor fella. He was beaten to a pulp. Five cards short of a full house. Never seen knives like this before. Seems like Prohibition hasn't affected Oakmont too much. So, that's what an Innsmouther looks like.
Take this, ape face. run!
What's happening?
Okay, let's see what we have here.
Take this, ape face.
What's happening?
Take this, ape face. Yeah, run!
When Albert Throgmorton woke up, he was not himself. He attacked the fishermen, and his hysteria spread to them. When he got wounded, he fled. I can barely recognize the face of the poor fella. He was beaten to a pulp.
Ed, I still hear those voices.
Choo-choo. It would take tremendous effort to move this thing, let alone tossing it over like this. The book is damp and damaged, but clearly well cared for.
I gave you clear instructions, did I not?
I've said everything I know.
Don't do anything stupid, newcomer. And keep your
I
hands
gave
where I
you
can see.
clear instructions, did I not?
So the fisherman pursued Albert, even let off a few shots.
I gave you clear instructions, did I not?
So... Even though Albert was wounded, he managed to climb that high. Robert wasn't exaggerating when he said he raised him strong. Even though Albert was wounded, he managed to climb that high. Robert wasn't exaggerating when he said he raised him strong. There's something in the pocket. The blood is fresh. Whomever it belongs to could not have got far. One fatal round through the forehead. That's no accident. This was deliberate. One fatal round through the forehead. That's no accident. This was deliberate. One fatal round through the forehead. That's no accident. This was deliberate.
Oh, yeah. Hey, got a spare bullet, fella? I ain't eaten in days. Oh, yeah. Hey, Got a spare bullet, fella? I ain't eaten in days.
You look familiar, but old Billy hasn't seen you around.
Stay alert! Monsters lurk underground. They're everywhere.
Ugh, I'll miss the carpenter's food giveaway with this darn port closure.
Welcome to Under the...
I've seen some unsettling creatures around.
So you met a wild beast, newcomer. No one knows what they are, but consider they arrived in the flood. Some say they come from the sea. Others that they are Kay's punishment for... If it bleeds, you can kill it. Keep your gun handy. And if you want to erase the memory, remember, better to be a coward and live than brave and dead.
I'm looking for a man by the name of Lewis Flynn. Any chance he's here?
Yeah. Even if I knew, I don't...
Robert Throgmorton hired me to investigate his son's disappearance. I found the note about your debt to Lewis near his cold, dead body. And it looks like Lewis murdered Robert's kid. You want him to come here?
What?
Don't what me. At best, you're harboring a criminal. At worst, you're an accessory to murder.
What? No. I ain't done nothing.
Tell that to Mr. Throgmorton.
No. No. Throg. Lewis is upstairs. Here's the key.
Smart man. There's your good deed for the day. Bye.
You want a drink?
What the... Get the... Oh...
Hey, who are you? What are you doing?
Charles Reed, private investigator. Mr. Throgmorton hired me to find his son Albert, so I think you know why I'm here.
Throg. That darn bartender. It was all that crazy ape's fault. You hear me?
Calm down. I only want to speak, for now. But no, if you reach for your gun, you'll hit the floor faster than you can say poetic.
I got nothing to hide.
What kind of... why do you... your face, it's,
Oh, so you're here to attack me just because I look different to you? Want to spit on me, whisper to your friends? What's new?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to ask. I've just never...
Innsmouther's bodies were blessed by the sea. You're gonna see a lot of us here, so you better get over it.
Start at the beginning.
We were in our house, me, Paul, and Will. Barry'd gone to the sea. Though I told him that it would only bring bad... If he'd listened to me, we'd all still be alive.
Come on, Lewis. Focus.
Right. Well, Barry dragged that damn ape to our house. He was bragging about how much... But that ape, he was out cold. Then woke in an instant and started screaming, attacking us. After that...
You shot to kill. No warning, no second chances.
I can't remember it. When he woke, it was like a bloody mist descended over me. First thing I recall after is that darn warehouse and me covered in blood. I had no idea what happened, though I suspected...
I hear there's a bit of a feud between the Innsmouthers and the Throgmortons.
Those apes hated us from the moment we arrived in Oakmont. Our home was destroyed. The Blackwood Grand family sheltered us, but others were not as hospitable. We needed jobs, food, and medicine.
And
we had to fight for every crumb of bread. And those Throgmortons in their high castle only made our life harder, always conspiring behind our backs, always setting people against us.
You mentioned a grand family.
So you're...
Yeah, a newcomer with a gun. Answer the question.
Okay. People here are crazy about bloodlines and tradition and reputation. The head honchos of Oakmont are called the Grand Families. There's the Carpenters, who control most of the city's underworld, the Blackwoods, who share kin with Innsmouthers through the Marsh family.
And let me guess, the Throgmortons.
Right, those filthy apes. Now that most of the Blackwoods are gone, there's nobody left to protect us.
The things you did to Albert don't look like a bloody rage. A fatal shot to the head? One might start to wonder if it was deliberate.
I don't know what to say.
I think I've got...
Please, Mr. Reed, don't tell Throgmorton about me. I know I'm in no position to ask. I didn't want to do whatever it is I did. Have mercy, please.
This is not exactly cut and dry. I need some...
Perhaps I can offer something to grease your grinds.
You think you're the first person to offer me a bribe?
Please, Mr. Reed.
Now, don't try my...
Please, I told you the truth, I swear. Please, I told you the truth, I swear. Please, I told you the truth, I swear.
You want a drink?
The port is closed by order of Robert Throgmorton. Back off.
Mr. Throgmorton now.
What?
Some unusual creatures.
You've seen a wild beast, Mr. Reed. I'm somewhat surprised to see you still alive. Those unsettling things appeared after the flood. I've commissioned a few studies on them, but we know little more than when we started. They're aggressive, but fortunately not immune to...
Yeah.
Try to avoid them when possible. And when...
Mr. Throgmorton. Yeah. I found your son in the basement of a nearby warehouse. I'm sorry, but...
No. It cannot be true. No, no, no. I don't believe it. No. Where? Who is he?
I tracked the murderer down, but he was attacked by those things prowling the back alleys. It was that Innsmouther fisherman, Lewis. He was covered in your son's blood. That may have attracted the beasts.
Are you certain the body is his?
Beyond any doubt. All that's left of him is a heap of flesh and this scrap of cloth. It's from his jacket.
Alas. This was my revenge to exact, not some wild. Still, justice has been served. This isn't...
Mr. Throgmorton, I hate to press you, but do you think you could...
Yes, you've earned it. Okay, to think a newcomer barely off the boat solves a crime the police... But I digress. Remind me.
I think I'm going mad, Mr. Throgmorton. I see things. Vision. I was drawn here, or guided, or I don't know. But I believe the source of this madness is here, in Oakmont.
You're not wrong, Mr. Reed. An inexplicable hysteria spread through Oakmont after the flood. I funded an expedition to explore recent geological activity that may be
Do these cases of hysteria involve
Since the flood, many Oakmonters have had similar nightmares. Indeed, Professor Doe, the expedition leader,
waterlogged ruins with unnatural architecture, a sleeping giant, drowned streets.
Her words exactly. She proposed the expedition.
A geological
I have reason to believe the flood and this madness have the same source. As a...
You mentioned the flood.
You weren't here, Mr. Reed. What happened?
Is your expedition found?
I do not know. Albert was part of it.
You think your son was killed because the expedition
Is it so hard to believe? I had no news for a week, then Albert, the only one I could...
It does.
Mr. Reed, I want you to find out what's going on.
If I'm going to look into this, I'll need to know more.
I'll give you the address of the expedition's headquarters.
That's all.
Let me be clear, Reed. You do not speak to me like that again.
I'm sorry, Mr. Throgmorton. I just meant the more
I am a busy man. I funded the research, but when you've finished, come see me at the Throgmorton family manor.
What about my expense?
They will be reimbursed after you complete your task. And of course, I'll also include a fair advance. The dollar lost its use here, Mr. Reed. After the flood, Oakmont returned to bartering. Bullets mean more than bills. I gave you clear instructions, did I not?
Got a spare bullet, fella? I ain't eaten in days.
What's your problem?
The door won't budge. The door won't budge.
What the? Get the... Oh.
He's mad. He's completely mad.
You want a drink?
Embrace your fate.
Crew of the Cyclops. Semper Fortis, brothers. Never again, they say. matter. Makes this place feel more like home. I miss Boston already. The door won't budge.
Finally, you're awake. Gotta tell you, though, mister, you want to stay on here, you stop making all that noise.
Noise? What?
I expect my guests to be respectable.
Got any proof it was me? I could.
That's exactly what a newcomer would say. Don't think your yellow-clad patron means you get away with...
You're not exactly friendly with your guests. Are we the...
All these newcomers after the flood, they're stark raving mad.
What do you mean?
You can't imagine the crazy notes and books I find after they move out. Only thing they're good for is lighting the kitchen stove.
Can I have a look?
I knew it. I tell you, no one sane would be interested. And you want... I'm watching you, newcomer. I'm watching you, newcomer.
You look tense, honey. You need to let loose.
Guess I don't need the key. Guess I don't need the key.